2, 1. Here we go.
Hello.
Hello and welcome to the Adamana podcast. I am LeBlue. I will be your host this week since Vero is out. This week we have with us Milk Me Softly, Morin, and Tyrael, all here to give you their thoughts on the current patch 5.4, which just dropped last weekend, giving us the Siege of Orgrimmar, Flex Raids, a new set of tier bonuses to play with, as well as the Timeless Isle. How are you all doing this week?
I'm okay.
Very tired.
Is that just from y'all doing progression talking, Tyrael?
But that's part of it for sure. We've spent a lot of hours already on some heroic bosses, so some of them I think might have been mistuned, like Nurshin, but we'll see.
Morin, how's your week been for your group?
Pretty good. We've only raided one day this week. We don't raid our second night till tomorrow night, so.
Oh, okay. So y'all haven't had another crack at Galcrest then?
Nope, tomorrow.
Tomorrow. All right. And then Milk, you've done the first two bosses, you said?
Yeah, we've gotten the first two bosses down, and we're currently stuck on Norushan.
Narushin or Harukin? Is that how you say it? So first up here, we obviously, a lot of us were watching the PTR patches, and since we have 3 priests here, imagine that. I vaguely remember somewhere someone posting saying that priests were going to be terrible this tier. Is that true?
No.
It wasn't
feel
true when
pretty
they
good.
posted it either, but
Somebody, to be fair, every patch note that involves priests, there's somebody, and usually the same somebodies, that are posting that we're going to be terrible.
you might want to recall that people were posting that paladins were going to be terrible, that monks were going to be terrible, that
Shaman were going to be terrible.
shaman were going to... None of that's true. In fact, I would say everybody's probably been horribly overbuffed because the amount of healing going on is kind of ridiculous.
Yes.
Okay, obviously we're all priests and a monk here, and I'm kind of the odd one out. But what are your thoughts on Efflo right now? Because I see it, and maybe it's because I've only seen Efflo in LFR, and it's mildly annoying when I'm just trying to top meters with very little effort. But how has Efflo been for y'all if you have a druid, as far as how ridiculous it is?
It's like 35-40% of Galleon, my co-healers, healing a lot of times, but on static fights it is completely ridiculous, and on more spread fights it's not quite as over the top, but it can still be, like, a lot of these fights involve stacking for a significant or a brief period of time, so.
I'm excited to level a druid to try it out.
It's pretty awesome. I have it on my druid, and I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Okay, and so next up, our next defenders, Shaman. Have you all healed a Shaman, and how do they feel this patch?
Oh, Healing Stream Totem.
Yeah, the new talent and Healing Stream Totem is kind of awesome.
I heal with a Shaman, and he's expecting Healing Stream Totem to get nerfed.
I thought that Chain Heal was going to be the one that would, like, standing out, but no.
No,
It's not
it's
Healing
the
Rain and
totem.
Healing Stream Totem.
Yep,
I mean,
top
it's
two
just,
heals.
it is ridiculous how much it heals, and you just put it down and forget it. Whatever.
Really?
Every 30 seconds.
Yep.
I thought that Healing Rain was going to be the big outlier for this tier, but so Healing Stream is being...
Healing Rain is really, really,
Healing
really
Rain
strong.
is really, really good, but you have to put it down, pretty consistently. The Healing Stream Totem, the first time I got on my Shaman after the patch, and I saw 90k, and keep in mind, my Shaman is not that geared, and I saw 90k crits going out. I'm like, what? Seriously? Yeah, it's easily top 2 heal.
Which is insane.
Okay, and now your monk co-healers, how are you feeling?
My monk's doing good, I think. He had to make some changes, the changes you advised, but I think he feels pretty good.
Yeah, I healed with Fist last night, and he was doing really good, and he's not really as scared as me.
Our monk, he's not doing badly. He can't compete with F-Flow and Healing Rain, and honestly, he can't compete with Divine Star either.
Are you saying level 90 priest talents are a little bit strong right now?
Just a bit.
Divine Star was 30% of my healing every pull on Norshan. Regardless of what I was doing, it was 30%. It didn't matter if I was Holy or Disc. I was like,
Yeah, it's a bit much. Like, even as, I expect it to be super powerful as Holy, but, I'm pretty much never Holy. And even as Disc, it's like really, really powerful.
I was expecting them, honestly, to revert the change back to the way it was before, which was where it had DR, but it didn't count full health targets against it. But that isn't what they did. And I don't know why they did that, because nobody asked. No, they didn't buff it. They removed the DR. It doesn't suffer from any diminishing returns at all.
Isn't that effectively a buff, though?
Well, yeah, but I mean, they were going to flat buff it when they had lowered when they had applied the DR to it. And they ended up reverting that, and instead of bringing it back to the way it was in 5.3, they just flat out, no DR at all. We don't need DR.
It's crazy. Well, you looked at my logs the other day.
I was looking at them. I'm like, I'm really glad that your level 90 talent far and outshines Revival. But you know what? Revival OP because it's instant. Not going to mention Divine Star. What's that on? A 30-second cooldown?
15 seconds, actually.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
Revival's actually really useful on Garrosh. I think they actually hotfixed this out so that it's not actually an issue, but when we were killing it on Monday, whenever the DKs or the rogues would get mind controlled, everybody in the entire raid suddenly had all of the, venoms and poisons and diseases. We all had them, all of us.
I saw that they hotfixed that you couldn't get weakened blows, Master's Poisoner, all the nasty debuffs.
We would get bleeds. Everybody in the raid would get bleeds. It was great. I was like, oh, well, okay then. But that was a really good, really nice clutch point for Revival.
I'm bad.
Have you been playing with From Darkness Comes Light, Tyrael?
Oh my god, yes. It's all I've been playing with. It is so good. It is ridiculous.
I have fun with it. I can't wait to get the 2-piece.
I've got my first piece of tier. Of course, first week, you don't really, as a healer, at least in my guild, we gear our DPS out really, really hard. So I didn't get any tier until this week. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to the 2-piece because I think 2-piece is going to really, really push it for Holy. It's so good that I've been able to drop my regen trinket, my Spirits of the Sun, on mini fights and just use the chalice. Since I haven't gotten any trinkets yet because LOL, gold.
Yeah, that sounds like me. I've gotten 3 gold rolls.
If it makes you feel better, Tyrael, 2 separate monks, I have yet to get a single piece of tier gear. I've gotten nothing from my bonus rolls, even though I save them specifically for, like, Thok and Black Fuse.
I got stuff for Disc, but not for Holy.
Yeah, my Shadow set has a better eye level than my Holy set right now.
Oh, nice.
Because off spec gear.
Well, I mean, if you want to play Shadow, just go play a Warlock. I mean, come on. Warlocks are like better Shadow Priests, with better.
I am giddy about the fact that they're fixing Norshan. I'm so happy.
What are they fixing with them?
They haven't detailed it, but they're going to hopefully fix it to where 3 healing the fight is not the ideal way to complete it on Heroic.
Oh, for 25-man? Yes. You really need a 3 heal that?
We 3 healed it, yeah.
That's absolutely insane.
It is absolutely insane.
What was the enrage timer at?
6 minutes, I think is the total. It's 7 minutes, yeah. We hit enrage the entire night, repeatedly.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I think every group was having the same issue. He's like, and that was 10-man, and they're just like, we need to find 30 million damage from somewhere.
Yeah. And if I'd been smart, I would have already had my my DPS legendary cloak because I've been trying that out after Nourish, and I was like, I need to check this out, and it does a ridiculous amount of DPS, and that probably would have helped a lot.
That's something I was going to ask too, because I heard Soplift also talking about the legendary cloak, obviously for monks, but I guess see it working for priests as well. Have any of you, has anyone tried it really as a alternative to the healing cloak?
I use the DPS cloak.
But you don't get atonement off of that, correct?
You don't get atonement heals, no, but it procs off atonement.
So
I just want my legendary. That's all I want. I have the worst luck.
It does a ton of damage. A lot of damage.
Yeah, it does a lot. It exponentially rises the more mobs you have. So it's like, it cleaves like nobody's business, and yeah.
It's very lovely.
And since the healer cloak doesn't proc as often, even with the increased proc chance, it just does not proc as often. And when it does proc, it doesn't really do as much for disc because they tend not to overheal a whole lot, except with atonement. You could really make the case for having both and switching them out depending on the fights that you're doing, even if you're, because there are going to be some fights, I'm sure, where the healer cloak with the 5% boost, and if you're doing a lot of healing and not smiting, it would probably be better.
Sure. I do have the healing cloak for what we're doing so far. The extra DPS, which is all the time, versus maybe getting a proc when it's useful or maybe not. The DPS is coming out high, but heavy healing, I do have the healing one I can swap to. But for now, DPS one is better for me.
But the healing cloak you'd say is better for like holy, Mistweaver monks, resto shaman, druids. Yeah.
The healing cloak gives me an average of anywhere between 5% and 9% of my healing. I've never seen it lower than 3% on any fight.
The highest I've gotten mine to is 1.6%. So I'm like, you know what? Screw this.
But I think that's the same thing as like the multi-strike trinket. It's going to be stronger for throughput classes, and it's also going to be stronger for 25 mans because there's more people for it to hit.
Exactly.
So going into it then, trinkets, thoughts? Like what are your favorites? Do you have any ones you're after still that you haven't quite gotten?
Going off Shaw of Pride. I want it.
I am going after the multi-strike trinket and the dysmorphic, whatever the hell, it's the spirit proc. And I'm probably going to swap between them. Like, I have like 5 different trinkets in my bags anyway, because I tend to swap trinkets depending on the fight. If I'm not having mana issues, for instance, as holy, I might swap out of a regen trinket to a throughput trinket and see if I still have mana issues. I know that a lot of disc priests are going to be going after the healing trinket. My concern is that the healing amplification trinket is what I'm talking about.
Yes, that's the one off Shaw of Pride.
My concern is that apparently it's best in slot for many DPS classes as well, even though they can't proc the intellect proc.
Well, my DPS can have the one off of Mercius, and I'll kill them if they try to take mine.
I'm channel change. Sorry. I find it odd that they didn't fix that. They should have just made it to where it doesn't work outside of certain classes.
Yeah.
I just want trinkets and pants and sorry.
You'll get a nourishing because the first chance you have is Shaw of Pride. But like, so tuning wise, y'all, since a couple of us have gone through, how are you feeling for the first several bosses? They feel about right, or feel too easy, too hard, not heroic material?
I kind of like Mercius. Personally, I thought it was a fun fight.
I didn't see all of the bosses on normal. I was in for most of them, but not all of them. I feel like everything up to probably Claxy Paragons is okay. It's tuned like fairly like a gradual increase in difficulty as you go up. You could make a case for Siegecrafter being really, really weird, but it has some unfamiliar mechanics in it and things that you like going through tubes and shit that has broken before.
You play Mario. You're playing Mario.
Claxy Paragons is annoying because the dungeon journal entries are intentionally vague and they don't necessarily explain it very well. It's the longest dungeon journal entry I have ever seen for a boss.
I think they looked to Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time novels and said, we want to model our dungeon journal Claxy like this, so we're going to make it so long that Ghostcrawler's going to keel over dead and we're going to have to pick up from him from his work.
That's honestly the thing about Klaxi Paragons that makes everybody crazy is that it's just has a lot of mechanics, but you can ignore a lot of them if your DPS are good enough.
Well,
Garrosh is going to give a lot of people fits, though.
How my experience with it was is it did feel somewhat steady. We kind of just zipped along. We hit Galacrass. I think we wiped a couple times. We kicked over the Loot Pinata, which is Iron Juggernaut. We stopped a little bit on Dark Shaman. They were kind of difficult for us, but we're also melee heavy. And then we just kind of zipped along through. Nazgrim kind of kicked him over. Malkrok gave us issues because stand in the purple puddles. Yes, I want you to stand in bad for once. Is a very difficult concept for some.
I'm just glad that Nazgrim had pants this time.
You mean he's not a giant green blob naked orc thing?
So creepy.
I think the biggest check so far, aside from Paragons, has been Thok. I don't know for 25-man, but for us as 10-man, it was a lot more intense than like Spoils, which I still considered an extended trash run. Personally, it wasn't difficult for me. I think the reason we wiped the couple times we did was because my Death Knight co-tank didn't open the boxes fast enough on his side.
You mean another dinosaur is a wall for you?
Wow, I think we wiped 10 times on him. It was a fun fight for our healers, I'm sure, and it's kind of funny to watch people just be chased by this giant hungry dinosaur that's gonna freaking eat your face off.
Was he still death spinning? Because he death spinned really bad.
I think he death spinned on our enhancement shaman once, and it was kind of funny. And this is like, sorry, dude, we just battle resed him and rolled on from there. But he hasn't been death spinning. I think the more annoying thing is when he double fixates on somebody and he's already close to them. That kind of sucks. But then Black Fuse, for 10-man at least, it felt such an incredibly easy fight. The hardest part of that fight was people couldn't get themselves to go into the tubes. They missed. Like, not just bugged out, they flat out missed. As my GM and I both jumped up there just to see what it was, and you could literally walk into the tube and it would be fine.
We had a question in the chat. How many healers would you guys suggest for each fight?
Depends on your gear. Most of them, for 10-man, most of them can be we 2-healed everything. That said, we outgear it. I would say 3 heal fights are maybe Iron Juggernaut. That'd be a good one to 3 heal because there's no real enrage or soft enrage if you're struggling there. Dark Shaman potentially. I wouldn't say Malkrok because if you have a throughput healer, they'll pretty much keep your raid happy and just rotate raid cooldowns. Thok you might want to look into 3 healers for. And then Paragons we did 2, and Garrosh I think we're doing 2, but you might want to do 3 for that as well. Material, I don't know what you say. Have about 25 mans for how many healers?
We generally 6 healed everything on normal, but that was a gear thing. We weren't doing anything crazy. We just wanted we grossly outgeared the instance when we got into it, as far as what it's tuned to actually challenge. So we were mostly doing it for gear. On heroic, things are a little bit different. We 3 healed Nurshin, and I believe we were 5 healing Shaw of Pride, and we are 6 healing Galacrass.
How many healers do you have for Immersius and Fallen Protectors?
I believe we had 6 for Fallen Protectors. I'm actually looking because my brain is a sieve after this week.
So you guys on 10 and 2 heal Immersius?
Yeah, we 2 healed it.
Yeah, we did too.
The hardest part about 2 healing it is making sure your raid's not so spread out that nobody can get healed. But I will say this right now, the thing that nullifies that the most, atonement healing. Because it can reach anywhere. I'm not saying bad, but you can, priest can atonement heal and it'll hit around the room because it's based off the boss's hitbox.
Yeah, because I was thinking
that's pretty much what I do.
I was thinking of glyphing my light well, so you have to click it and putting it in the bag. And
people heal themselves in the back.
I think in my convert to raid group, I ended up solo healing the last like 50% of that boss, and legitimately the only way I got away with doing that because there's not a lot of damage outside of the split phase. It's the split phase when the oozes actually reach there when you get more healing ones, so it's actual damage. The only reason I got away with that was because of monk mechanics, which was throw my renewing mists out, get out of range of them so it bounces somebody else, and then go around the other way and try to keep renewing mists on people. I could see that being very difficult for other classes, though. And if the fight's not tuned to where there's a super tight DPS check, so a three heal strategy might be more viable if for no other reason than that you can get so spread out that it's hard to hit everybody. That said, hybrid healing is really strong in that fight.
Right.
So who here has done some flex rating? That's the big new feature that they came out with, and I know I've done it a couple times.
It's fun. I like flex rating.
It is fun, especially to have a group of people you actually know and get along with.
Exactly.
And you can bring along your friends who might not be geared for normals, but you don't just say, sorry, dude, we'd love to bring you, but you don't have a spot, or, oh, you're sorry, you're not geared enough for this. Obviously, if you look in the trade chat post, you're going to see people saying, oh, you need 530 or 540 ILO over flex. It's like, no, you don't.
You don't. I went last week on my druid and shaman, and they were barely over 500, and they did fine.
The only encounter I have seen a hard DPS, I can think two encounters that have a hard DPS check. One's Nourishing, because I've wiped a couple times of that. I mean, that said, I had people in the raid doing like 30, 40k DPS, and we were healer heavy to begin with. Didn't help anything. But the other one I could see is Galacrass in the final phase, having a bit of a soft enrage to it. But none of them have been so super tight on DPS to where doing the mechanics right will do far more for you. And I see it as it's great because I know either this week or next week my guild's going to do achievement runs through Flex. We don't have to give up a lockout, and we go knock out some achievements because Gammon not dying because we wiped on Nazgrim is hard, darn it. Because Gammon will save us all.
He stands in every fire he possibly can. He gets cleaved to the face. He is the worst tank ever.
You shut your mouth. I was using him to meter fap like a champ this morning.
That's what you were doing too.
I was like I was healing with a resto druid this morning, and because he was filling in, and he's like, "How's your healing so high?" And he looks at my healing done, and double of what I've done everybody else was on Gammon. Gammon took up like 30 million of my healing because we kept getting war songs.
Instead of beaconing the tank, our paladin beaconed Gammon and looked like a god on the meters, and everybody in the raid was like, "Where was your beacon?" He's like, "It was on Gammon. We had to keep him alive."
So that's how you're gonna rank on Nazgrim. It's gonna be who solo heals Gammon. How many war songs can you let through and keep Gammon up through before he dies? That is how you will rank on Gammon. Just like for any DPS or tank trying to rank on Nazgrim, it's did you kill it on the first pull when you have the huge AoE pack, and how much of your raid didn't AoE that. So, yay logs, because going for number one is really important because it's not like we're cheesing anything. But yeah, the second wing of Flex opened this week. I have not personally tried the second wing. I've only done the first wing.
Same. I'm doing second tomorrow though. I'm excited.
Yeah,
haven't done Flex at all.
What?
I've been playing Final Fantasy instead.
Okay, that's acceptable.
That is acceptable. Flex is actually a lot of fun, in my opinion.
It's
I
just
think
they
it's
want to do
great.
it at like 11 o'clock at night after we spent 4 hours wiping, and I'm like, nope.
Nope, thanks.
No.
My only thing with Flex is be very careful about doing pugs, like trade chat pugs, and some other group pugs, because sometimes they're more like an LFR than they are a Flex, especially if people refuse to get into some sort of voice chat thing so you can coordinate, because unlike LFR, you can't ignore every single mechanic and do fine. You actually have to have some sort of coordination, but I will say it is kind of cool for some groups that it is their progression. Like, legitimately, you can see they're progressing on this, they're working on this, and they're not just going to say, oh, we wiped, well, this determination buff will carry us through eventually. Kind of like the LFR I did this week, and I kind of just cried for doing it. Oh, gosh.
Nourishing and LFR, I understand why it is the way it is, but That shit's annoying.
I think my biggest gripe is you get the people who are like, I am the top DPS, you should send me down all the time. And they complain about that. It's like, well, if you're top DPS, you know what you're doing. Kill the ads that everybody else is flat out ignoring.
Right.
That's what I saw. And then even then, it's like, what, a 50% damage reduction on the boss?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you're not doing nothing. You're doing something.
Yeah, you're doing something. I did it the other day with a mage in my guild, and he never got sent down and still managed to be 5th DPS because he was nuking the ads because, of course, everybody else was ignoring them. So, I mean, he still did plenty of damage, even not getting purified.
I don't go down.
I go down.
I'm not even going there. I'm glad the Death Beam isn't an instant kill mechanic, especially so much LFR, because it's Durmu all over again. I did Durmu this week to try to get Titan Runestones on my baby monk. I got 3 this week total from freaking 14 possible bosses. Beside the point. And still over half the raid, I'm sorry, let me correct that. 3/4 of the raid die to that Death Beam. We've only seen it for 6 months, and people still don't do it. I'm almost convinced it's more apathy than anything. They just say, oh, if I'm dead, I don't have to do anything until like half the raid's dead, and then you're kind of screwed.
I die because I lag, and then actually I'm getting a new computer tomorrow, so yes.
So you won't lag on Durmu and can stop being bad then.
Yes. And I can actually go down.
So proud.
Oh, jeez. But yeah, the new LFR wing opened up. Do we know when the next one is? Is it next week or week after? I don't remember.
I think it's the week after.
Because I know in 2 weeks we get the next flex wing, which is going to be Malkarok, Spoils of Pandaria, and Thok. So yeah. That'll be when that opens up, and I'm assuming the next Raid Finder wing will open up with that next flex wing. Y'all have any thoughts on how it's opening up, like slowly but surely, instead of just here you go content raw?
I'm fine with them delaying flex now. Okay. Gives, I don't know, people to digest stuff before they move on.
Yeah.
Well, the idea is that they don't want LFR to be... They don't want guilds that are really, really focused on normal and heroic progression to be basically running through LFR the first day and complete. Remember in... Was it in DS where did everything open up first week?
It was.
Yeah.
They opened up half of it basically because there's 8 bosses. It was such a massive raid, but no, it was the first half, and they had so many game-breaking set bonuses and trinkets. And so basically, what happened was the second week when heroics opened up, they had the whole crazy scandal with lots of raids getting all their people their 4 sets and stuff.
Yeah. And they didn't want that to be an issue, and I think the same thing with Flex. They didn't want. Well, I don't fully agree with how they implemented Flex. I think it would have been better if they just let you walk in and set the difficulty to Flex instead of having to queue. Because I just don't like the fact that you have to queue because I'm prejudiced, I guess.
It is kind of weird.
I don't mind the queue because it means I can be off circle jerking in, I don't know, Northrend, and they're like, all right, we're ready. We're ready to go. You can stop looking for the Valkyrie that's never going to ever spawn. And it's like, oh, okay. And then I push a button and done. I don't mind that aspect of it. From a I'm going into raid perspective, it sounds a little weird, but from a convenience standpoint, it's freaking amazing. But I don't mind the gating so much either. And I don't think LFR is as big a deal this tier, only because it's the same item level as Thunderforged loot from Throne of Thunder. It's not that massive upgrade that it could potentially be, because for Christ's sake, Flex is 540. Normals are 553. That's a huge
What I love
gap.
is that normal gear is better than my heroic Thunderforged. I'm like...
Doesn't that make you feel good? You know what's the best part, Tyrael? So last, Sunday before 5-4 drops, I get heroic Thunderforged boots from Raw Den. I replace these stupid, crappy crafted boots that I've had since basically the start of TOT. Finally, the last Sunday before Siege drops. You know what drops on the first day of Siege? Boots.
Something to replace that with?
Yep.
Probably, because that's what would happen to me.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. So I got an extra 4 item levels, double upgraded it to 461 and called it a day. Y'all got any Warforged gear? Because I have.
I haven't gotten any though.
I haven't. My paladin got 2 items off the world boss last week. I'm upset that my paladin's getting gear.
My monk has gotten 2 items off of Ordos total so far. So 1 item a week, which is sweet. I replaced, you want a huge gap here, I replaced a 496 helm, a tier helm from tier 14, with a Warforged item from Ordos. That was a massive bump, and I could actually use my healing meta.
Well, my paladin went up with, I double upgraded both of the Warforged pieces off Ordos, and her eye level, I'm not even kidding, her overall eye level went up 11 points. From 2 items.
I still haven't managed to kill Ordos. Like, I went
Why?
to... this is a funny story. I went to a group last night. I was going to try to kill Ordos because, well, Final Fantasy was down for an hour, and I was like, well, I'll go play on the Timeless Isle. Well, it was a cross-realm group, and for whatever reason, like, we kept getting ported to, like, we had people from all over, like 10 different servers, so we kept being ported between servers. Like, everybody would disappear, then everybody would reappear, and people that weren't in the raid would have different server tags by their names. This happened for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then all of a sudden the raid completely dropped every single person from my server. Like, we just all were no longer in the raid.
That sounds
but
fun.
We could still see the people, we could still see the raid, and they were able to re-invite us, at which point we went on a trip through several different servers again, and it dropped us a second time. And at that point I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to bed.
Sleep for the week, Tyrael. Final Fantasy would have come up early.
It was broken this afternoon too.
Uh-huh. But the world bosses have been Zergfests on good old Storm Rage to the point where the bosses don't even cast abilities on Tuesdays because they're lagged out so badly. It's actually kind of funny. Morin, you might have seen me on my Battle.net battle tag thing saying, someone please take me away from this server so I can do stuff. Mm-hmm. It was so terrible, and all of Pandaria is lagging because making that on the same instance server as Pandaria was a wonderful idea in every way.
Brilliant.
Well, Tyrael, you had the same fun with Kel'Thuzad, didn't you?
Yeah, Pandaria like crashed. Actually, we've had a lot of weirdness with the servers. I was spiking to over 1K latency while we were doing Galacross pulls, which was awesome because I would cast spells and they would cast like 4 or 5 seconds after I cast them. I would move and it would happen on my screen immediately, but apparently for everybody else it didn't happen immediately at all. So, and then there's also been like, if people were getting DC'd when they would try to log back in, they would be told that the world server was down and they couldn't get back in. So
I like the characters already exists or whatever bug that you get sometimes. That's a personal favorite of mine. I mean, I will say one of my favorite hobbies is when the server's lagging really bad and you release your spirit in raid instance and you can run around as a ghost for a while. That's a lot of fun. You ever done that? We had our paladin get locked like that for like a good 15 minutes. I think it was an MSV. Oh, wow. It was so terrible. We're just like, oh my gosh.
I'm going to assume that you guys haven't had the issues with your graphics that I have had this tier since the new patch.
What do you mean?
They're blocky. Like, I will be shadow and I'll hit dispersion and it's like a bouquet of colored squares swirling around in a circle.
Oh, wow.
You're getting a new computer, right?
Yes, I'm getting a new computer tomorrow.
Yeah.
It looks cool, but it's weird. And it's like that for everything. All the spell effects, windows and Stormwind, with the circle ones, it's like a quarter of the circle that displays inside the circle. It's weird.
Sounds fantastic. But alright, so set bonuses. How are y'all feeling about your set bonuses this tier versus last tier's set bonuses? Better upgrade, you going 2-piece 15, 2-piece 16, or what?
I'm hoping to get 2-piece from each tier.
Yeah, for Holy I can see. I actually like the set bonuses for Diff. I didn't really care for them in tier 15. I mean, they weren't bad, but they were, at least the two-piece was far superior for Holy than it was for Disc. But I'm actually looking forward to the tier bonuses this time.
I am going after two-piece for Holy. I will probably eventually pick up the last two pieces for Disc. But I don't know if I'm going to actually use them with Spirit Shell because, as I found out this week, this is the first time I've played Disc since the patch. That, 5 seconds less is really, really, really harsh. Especially if you have high latency. Oh my god, it is so bad.
I can see it being problematic in 25. In 10 man, it's not that. I mean, it's noticeable, but it's not that bad. But I can see it being really bad in 25.
What about you, LeBlue?
I'm a very sad panda, and I don't get tier gear because everybody hates healers and stuff. But
Also, we just hate you.
yeah, I think I'm gonna be rolling two-piece for a while until I pretty much flat out gear the other pieces because the two-piece from last year is freaking amazing, and it gives the haste break points more value than they have currently, which is good for how much haste is going to be on gear to begin with. But as soon as we take that away, the haste break points lose some of their value because of renewing mist and the snapshotting that occurs from using Thunder Focus T. And from what I remember seeing on the PTR, the 4-piece wasn't actually that much healing since it literally got nerfed into the ground from how awesome it potentially could have been. But the 2-piece gives Mastery some benefit, so having a Mastery piece doesn't make you just kind of cry tears of blood. I will have more to report on that when I actually get loot, because nobody likes to give healers loot, and bonus rolls are just for trolling.
Yep.
Pretty sure they just don't like giving you loot.
They don't like giving me loot either. It's okay. I feel you.
They like giving LeBlue loot because he got a Warforged staff off of Mercius, the crit expertise one. I was pretty excited about that, but that's not a healing item, so...
I feel like if I went Shadow, I'd be set.
Right, that's how it works. Well, if you're DPS, man, you gotta gear the DPS. The bosses die faster, and then less healing is needed, and then tanks don't need to worry about taking so much damage.
Yeah, but I'm not DPS.
So this brings me to another point, and I've noticed this more because I do tanking and healing, so I see both ends of the spectrum. Tank damage this tier. How has it felt this tier versus last tier? Because I know last tier, as a Brewmaster monk, I was going straight out crit and not even looking at mastery. Like, it wasn't a thing for me. This tier, though, the bosses seem to hit significantly harder to where tanks need a little bit more TLC. I don't know if you've all noticed that for this tier, though.
I have.
Yeah, I put more than last year for sure.
It hasn't seemed to be the bosses so much with my group as it has been fights like Garrosh and even I guess you could even say the Paradons where it's like ads. Like there are packs of ads on Garrosh that get these huge damage increases, and seriously, it's the first time that I've seen Guardian Spirit actually go off because the tank was at full and then he wasn't. But I mean, I think part of that too is that in a 25 man you have a lot more people that are all focusing on everything. You've got, what is it? Usually 2 heal a 10 man, so you've got like 4 extra healers. And except on fights like Immersius where like you might be on the other side of Timbuktu from your tank, pretty much you have more people watching.
Yep.
Yeah, it's something that's kind of sucked. Like, as a monk, it's really annoying that I have to actually pay more attention. Because, like, we have a paladin, so she'll beacon the tank or whatever. But oftentimes I'm still finding myself, I need to stop and focus, at least throw an enveloping mist or something on them. And sometimes I won't even use my metagem procs to get mana back. I'll actually use them to pump surging mist into them so that they don't drop dead. But I think you really don't see... I guess I really didn't see the huge spike until about Thok. Thok was when I first started noticing the tank damage was kind of spiking up there. Malkrok, obviously, if you did the debuffs wrong, but that's just following mechanics improperly.
Naru, if you're in the trial and not interrupting.
That was fun, Milk. I enjoyed watching my heroically geared tank go from full to like 10% health in one hit and going, oh my gosh, what just happened to me? That was a load of fun, let me tell you.
And not when you wipe on it for like 7 times.
Y'all will get it eventually. But I guess that kind of comes from the thing with the 10s and 25 man serial where you've got more people just watching the tank, and it might be a bigger thing for us. Whereas we're already spread relatively thin by 2 healing in that it's difficult and sometimes to raid heal and keep the tanks up in high damage situations. But that's what raid cooldowns are for, right?
Indeed.
Because this expansion hasn't turned into an arms race of raid cooldowns at all.
Well, they tried to sort of keep that from happening when they were like, oh, by the way, you can't actually use raid cooldowns on the healing ooze thingies because we don't like you. Have fun.
Because they would
You
stack
can
monks.
void shift them.
You stack monks and you win if that was the
I
case.
void shifting them. I totally should have.
Yeah, if you can void shift them, and if you have the flip of shifted appearances, you become a blob.
But you can actually revival them, but you can't use anything else on them. But revival will work on them.
I thought they fixed revival so that it could not.
It's working on Tuesday, but I can ask, double check and see if... I know it was working last week.
I remember reading somewhere that they fixed it where it doesn't work now. That obviously could be bugged. All I've been doing is like sitting on top of one, dropping healing sphere so that I get the healing buff, and then just going crazy. So, so has the healing cooldown arm race really kind of reared its head for y'all, Tyrael?
It's actually less been a focus on healing cooldowns and more on F-Flow, Divine Star, and Healing Rain. It's pretty much what's being noticed the most because it's so outlandish. I mean, everybody tranks. You know, people got tranks. And we've actually set up certain things where we're like, you know, we're gonna give symbiosis to the Shadow Priest to get a trank because even though it's shitty, it's better than nothing. But we haven't hit any bosses yet that have been cooldown central like they were in or I'm pretty sure Malkarak will be though for that whole smashing whatever the heck it is that he does. And I'm pretty sure from the pulls that we got in that the second half of Galakras is going to be a cooldown rotation because that's a lot of damage.
Just one long string of cooldowns basically.
Or like sometimes you'll trank to stabilize people. Like if things go really wrong or on Shaft Pride, for instance, if you have a lot of debuffs out and you just can't keep up with them, a lot of times we'll trank to stabilize while other people will, you know, dispel as fast as they can. Because you can't dispel it willy-nilly or you'll end up full of pride and get MC'd and explode and kill everybody. So you want the people with the Gift of the Titans to do the dispelling. But
right.
there might only be one healer, right? And you might get 4 debuffs, and the healer's not going to be able to get all 4.
Or the best part is when you get RNG and like the first 2 or 3 debuffs, or first 2 or 3 Titan gifts go out, and none of them are healers, and you finally get a healer, and like, oh look, the whole raid's covered. This will be fun.
There's always one healer in 25-man that gets picked. Sometimes it'll be 2, but the other thing that's happening while all this is going on is the healers are being banished into Pac-Man land. And so, yeah.
I got the thing like every single time last night. Well, the last time we did Flax.
I've had a couple pulls in my 10-man group where like the healers wouldn't get it for a couple rounds, and we're 2 healing, but there would be rounds that missed healers, and we're just kind of like, well, I guess we'll heal through this damage. It kind of sucks.
We don't have any other choices.
It's kind of
the only option we have.
It's just terrible because I've told my raid leader a couple times, and this just might be me being ignorant monk / I want to say this for meter fapping, but I've told him don't consider revival raid cooldown. It's okay for stabilizing, but a priest thing will do far more for you than
You
that.
sound bitter.
I am not bitter. I am perfectly content with how the raid cooldown race is shaped out for monks. Alright, Will we have any other lasting thoughts on 5.4 at the moment that we kind of missed?
Did we talk about Timeless Isle?
I don't think we were about it so much, but sure, we can give it a whirl. So what have y'all been doing on the Timeless Isle other than farming lesser charms? Because yes.
I'm being very disappointed in it.
Yeah, I ran around and got my coins the first day and was really annoyed with the whole thing. And then all of a sudden everybody started getting sensors, and then I started getting really annoyed with people because I'm on a PvP server, so I can't deflag, which is my own damn fault. But I really wish, if you look, all the major progression guilds end up on PvP servers, and I don't really know why, but so then I started killing everybody back because I was annoyed, and I have 600,000 HP, and it's really hard to kill me. And but there were just people that were just being asshats. Like, they were killing the albatrosses that carry people to complete. There's some quests that you have to do, and they were killing the albatrosses to make sure that people couldn't get their quest done. And they were also, when people were trying to get to certain chests, they were actually typhooning them off of the ropes so that they wouldn't be able to get to the chest. They would do this for hours at a time. People would stand on the edges of the cliffs, and they would take pot shots at people going by on the albatross, not killing the albatross, killing the person while they're being carried by and can't do anything. So there was just so many instances of people being complete and utter jerks that I was like, yep, got my coins.
Yeah, my biggest
World
issue with it right
PvP.
now is I kind of derped and I got the pants, which I needed to upgrade the first day. But before I realized I could upgrade them to 535s, I gave them to my warlock and used it. And I have the Burden of Eternity now. And ever since then, I've been looking for another pair of pants and been getting nothing but non-cloth gear, or like 5 bracers and 3 shoulders, and I'm annoyed with it. And
So you're
I
running
have a
around with no
full
pants
set.
on right now.
I have a full set of
pants
plate
are over
gear.
it anyway. Yeah, like,
And I don't have a paladin or a warrior. I just have this full set. Or a DK, I have a full set of plate gear.
I have a full set of leather gear, which I'm going to give my 87 druid. But at the same time, it's like, I want pants. What do you guys think of the trinket, the healer trinket from the coins?
It's not bad if you just need something. I mean, it's in with the spirit use, so it's okay.
And that's a low cooldown. So
Yeah.
it's good starter trinket for new healers. It's not going to help. I don't think Druid Innervate still ties to short-term buffs, but I could be wrong.
No, they remove short-term buff.
So it's not going to help that. It doesn't help with Mana Tide, but I mean, other than that, it's not a bad trinket. I'm glad they did an upgrade because they needed something, but actually, one thing that really annoys me with the Timeless Isle is that the cloth gear. The Warlocks got their own brand new model. Okay, it's a recolor of the intro Justice Point gear that we got at the start of the expansion. That sort of Chinese/Asian style robe and shoulders. They got this orange and blue recolor that actually looks really cool. Orange, blue, and red. And healers, well, basically priests, we got the same color as the original set.
Yeah, we got the same plain stuff.
Yep. So all it is for me right now is a nice Maelstrom crystal. So I'm just turning them all into crystals because I have nothing else to do with them. I really wanted that set. I'm really mad I can't get it.
I'm starting to debate on doing that too, because I keep getting the dumb things, and I'm like, I don't have alts that are undergeared enough to truly abuse this. Because, I mean, even on Storm Rage, where I have like 9 90s, and only one of them's not 90 because it's level stopped at 80 to do Titans, they're all mostly decked out in 496 or greater, or just haven't got a piece that it mattered. So it's just like, well, I guess I can make Maelstrom crystals and flood the market like everyone else is doing, because that's cool. Shock crystals, whatever they're called. I'm still back in Cataclysm, apparently.
Yeah, the price is completely tanked.
And with that means enchants as well. So enchanters, if you wanted to make money,
Yep.
That boat is gone. Good luck.
My enchanter got the 553 belt pattern for healers. But
Here,
it
Taylor.
takes, my warlock is.
But it takes ages to make unless you're DE stuff.
21 days to make it.
You got it. But if you go into a raid and you just DE everything, you'll have it in no time flat.
No, because you have to make the celestial cloth, which is a once daily cooldown, and it takes 21 of those.
Right. Well, you can get these crafting materials from
Spirit
DE
of
stuff
War.
that you can use to make more of those daily cooldowns without invoking a cooldown.
Oh, the war, yeah.
The
Yeah.
War Spirit.
So if your guild is more than happy to throw away potentially good loot, you can have that quick.
But my warlock, it does not raid.
Meh. I mean,
Cool.
the spirits are you can sell the spirits or whatever, because I've sold a couple myself. I got an item from from stupid Siege on my monk, and then I got something better from Ordos. I'm like, oh, okay. So I DE'd that, and I threw them on the auction house for like 5K on the Area Peak one. I'm like, easiest 5K ever made. Because I'm a jerk like that.
We all know this. Common knowledge.
That's not very nice.
I used to love me, so whatever. Anyway.
But, alright guys, do we have, from those of you who are in our chat room, do we have any questions in Milk? Are you able to check the Twitters or Facebooks to see if we have anything?
Facebook has nothing. I'm pretty sure Twitter has nothing.
Alright, I will double check the Twitter, but do we have any questions for the podcast crew this week? Anything else? I'm going to cut this one short because I have prior engagements that I have to get to. Salt, if you want to go ahead. Cooking. I haven't. Have you guys seen the new Cooking Daily? I have not found this Cooking Daily. I made the noodle cart,
What cooking daily?
but I haven't seen this new Cooking Daily.
There's another cooking daily?
Or is it that stupid solo scenario? I
Oh,
hate
the solo
that thing.
scenario. Oh, I haven't done it. I did it for the noodle
I
cart
did
and I
it
left
for
it
the-
alone.
Yeah, I did it to get the cart, and that thing was annoying. I'm not doing it again.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan. I thought it was kind of cool for like 2 seconds. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is kind of cool, and then it's just like, when
It
does this
goes
end now?
forever. I'm not doing it again. That's annoying.
Nope.
Have you guys done proving grounds yet?
Yes, but not as a healer. I took LeBlue into the DPS one as a tank just so I could get the "You're Doing It Wrong" achievement.
I need to go get that. Everybody in my guild wants me to go do it and get the "You're Doing It Wrong."
I'm more tempted to do gold as a brewmaster just to see if it's possible. I think it might be, but meh. It's just I don't have a need to do it. I guess I don't want to sit there and find a whole set of gear to optimize so I can do endless 30 or something dumb like that.
Yep.
Pretty much what I'm saying is I don't want to be Frozen, who lived on proving grounds for God only knows how long.
Uh-huh.
I did the first day came out, and apparently it was bugged then. So I got all the way through gold, first day, first try. And yeah, now apparently it's harder than it was.
They made it harder? I don't know how the healing proving ground is.
They made it harder, and then there were some bugs where the DPS weren't using AoE even when they should be, and some other stuff. And Laura posted the other day that they're fixing it, or is fixed now or something.
Oh, well, that's good at least, I suppose, maybe.
So I guess I need to go back in and see how bad I actually am.
I'm kind of dreading it as a monk, only because my single target healing is kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Piss poor! That's what I'm looking for. It's like, oh, he didn't take my healing sphere, I'm boned. Because who needs single target heals when you've got fantastic AoE healing at 463 item level? Oh, wait.
Think of it this way, all the healing spheres are yours.
That's what I try to tell myself. I try, because they don't eat my mastery bubbles, so I guess it simulates an actual raid environment, because nobody uses my mastery bubbles, except for on Galacrast, Morin, if you saw how much that did for me.
Yeah.
It's okay. I wouldn't be able to glyph flight well either.
So, real quick, since we have a couple minutes then, any glyphs y'all have switched out, changed out, and whatnot from 5.3? Because they made several changes to
Shifted
classes.
appearances. That's
Any-
pretty fun, watching a priest tank.
So, any favorite glyphs then?
Confession still.
I still need to get the baby shower. I don't have it yet, but I need it.
Have you guys noticed Confessions actually has more responses now?
I have noticed that.
A lot of them are pretty freaking funny too.
All the cool kids glyph Lightwell so that they can have the better Lightwell because clicking it makes it better.
I unglyphed Lightwell and replaced it with Circle of Cheating to go with my Biting Heel glyph that I use to abuse my meta. Which is really the only good use of the glyph anyway.
Pretty much.
I hate that meta and I love it for my Holy Priest because if I miss timing, I just threw away a crap load of mana, but if I don't miss the timing, it's fantastic. But I'm happy to have the option of getting rid of the Glyph of Manatee. That's kind of nice. I enjoy having absolute infinite mana because of the new Chi Brew, because they were trying to fix mana being non-issue for monks. Good job, Blizzard. You fixed monks. We still don't even look at mana. I don't look at my mana bar. I don't care about it. I haven't cared about it since 5.4 or 5.0.4, whatever the hell. Spin to win. Spin to win's back. I've been enjoying the Glyph of Enduring Healing Spheres greatly. And the Glyph of Spinning Crane Kick. Both have been very friendly to me.
I'm kind of excited to get Glyph of Angels as a Holy Priest.
Is that the one that makes you have wings whenever?
Yes.
I kind of want that for my priest too. Are those just rare drops off of mobs, like the patterns or whatever, for if you're in a script?
Shifted appearances you actually buy from a rare vendor on the Timeless Isle.
Oh, that sucks.
It costs 4,000 coins.
Oh, that's not bad. You don't even want to know how many coins I wasted trying to get bonkers.
I have bunkers.
I threw away like 15,000 coins trying to get bonkers.
I probably spent that many too.
I don't even want to think about it. I'm sure it's substantially more.
I'm actually not going to get the Sha one.
Why not? Baby shower.
Because I don't ever pay attention to my Sha, and I got rid of my Mindbender for From Darkness Comes Light, so it's...
That's how you fix
I
talent.
suppose.
That's how you fix talent. Make a really good set bonus for a talent. Oh, nobody's using this. Let's just make this set bonus work amazingly with it, and they'll ignore the other two, because that's gameplay. But we'll see. So, barring any last-minute things from y'all, anything at all? Any announcements, whatnot?
No.
Changeoid entered channel.
All right, guys. If you want to
I'm sorry for
follow...
interjecting, but I actually have a question.
What's up?
Okay.
Yes, sir?
Well,
Shane?
what is your opinion on the models of Tier 16 gear?
The models? I haven't looked at much of them other than the monk one, and the monk one kind of grew on me. I didn't like it originally, but I think I might end up liking it. Although I'll probably like it more on my baby monk because it's a female panda, vice my LeBlue, who's a male panda. He just looks fat.
I feel that the only race that the priest set looks good on is dwarf. It looks amazing on a dwarf, but I really don't like how it looks on anything else. Especially the helm, which doesn't go with any of my hairstyles. Makes me mad.
Oh. I'm still waiting for them to update the character models.
Pipe dream.
Character models would be amazing.
I would probably go back to being a Tauren, sorry guys.
Maureen, you got anything on the set the tier sets, how they look?
I kind of like it, personally.
I think
didn't
that they
like
missed a great opportunity to make it Kor'kron themed. Like, the Dark Shaman set would look amazing on Shamans.
You can get that, though, from random drops and stuff in
I think
there.
his point is,
for your shaman.
why is the Shaman set like Ulduar Astral Projection instead of the Dark Shaman set?
It's like one of the series of Power Rangers is what it looks like, and we were making fun of our shaman because he's got a full set right now. He got the whole set. He's like, "This is the gayest looking crap ever." It's like, "Yep, enjoy that."
Transmog for the win.
Oh, it'll probably be transmog by next raid day. But Barney, anything else? Anyone? Last minute? Yes? No? Maybe
Apparently
so.
not.
Changeoid moved to out of monitor.
Okay, guys. If y'all want to post your things, you can follow me at the Ducksmith on Twitter, twitch.tv/DragonUser55. Milk, what can they follow you at?
Milk the Femtar.
And Morin, you have a Twitter or whatnot?
I do, but I never remember the name because I don't use it, so don't bother following me because I don't pay attention.
At least you're honest.
And then you can follow Tyrael at TyraelWow on Twitter. And what's your Twitch page, Tyrael, since I know you've been streaming recently?
I'm not streaming heroic encounters openly. We have to lock ours because my guild requires. But it's Tyrael Wow at Twitch.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. We'll get this up as soon as Vero basically gives me access to whatever, or she does it. See you all in 2 weeks. Hopefully the next time we'll be able to have a flex raid or something afterwards. I hope you all have a good week. Good luck in Siege of Orgrimmar.
You too.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Myrtle, do your Murloc quick.
Okay.